Welcome back to Wild Haven Pastures. Today we're going to be doing some lawnmower maintenance. This riding lawnmower we got when we first moved on this property 3 years ago. It is a Troy-Bilt Bronco. It's made for medium to large size lawns. We bought it. It has a 42-inch blade. It's an automatic. You could mow in reverse on it. It has a lot of great features on it. It is made for medium to large lawns, whereas we have a very large lawn and pasture that we have to mow. We thought it would be a good choice for us this time because we were going from having an eighth of an acre yard to going to 5 acres. Let's get a riding lawnmower, and it fit our budget at the time. And right now we're saving up for another one. But today we're going to do some maintenance on it because there's certain things that just break down when you're mowing large lawns. Today we are going to take off the mowing deck to replace the blades. We're going to replace the chute cover here that's broken as well. We're going to talk about, we're going to try to fix the brakes on it because the brakes have also stopped working. But we're talking about mower safety and the things I've learned over the last 3 years to trying to do maintenance on this. The first thing that you always want to do when you work on a riding lawnmower or any lawnmower is make sure that you disengage the power. They recommend turning it to off. You're going to want it to raise the hood on it, and you're going to find the spark plug at the right front. So right up here up front, there is a spark plug cover. So you disengage that. That way you are going to be a lot much more safe and not injure yourself while you're mowing or while you're working on your lawnmower. They also recommend taking off the power on the back. With this, you just need a Phillips head screwdriver in order to take off the red power cable. So let me go grab one of those real quick. And this one, it just slides right out. And there is a little fitting inside there that you want to make sure that you don't lose, but as you're working on the lawnmower. But doing this should make sure that the engine doesn't engage while you're working on it, because I like all my limbs the way they are. To remove the mowing deck on this lawnmower, the first thing that you want to do is you're going to take it from the mower height all the way down to 1 and make sure your PTO is disengaged. There are 3 cotter pins on this lawnmower holding the mowing deck in place. The first one is at the back of it. Sometimes they feel a little stiff, so it's good to have a pair of pliers on it so you can grab them and pull them out. So the first one is right back here. See if this one's going to slide out. And I've replaced these a couple times over the years because they get tore up pretty good. But here's one of the cotter pins. There's another one right up front holding the front together. You pull it tight like this, and you can grab that cotter pin out as well. And then there's a third one on the back side by the left-hand tire, left wheel. And this is one of the original cotter pins. It looks a little different than the other ones that are much easier to get out that I replaced it with. Like I said, they stick. Sometimes they're a little difficult to get out.
I got it.
There you go. Next, you're going to remove this bar from this bar here. You just pop this one in. And it'll drop down. Oh, I gotta tighten that too. That's the height adjustment. I found over doing maintenance on this that it's a good idea. You see this bar hanging right here? This bar right here?
Under there. Okay.
It's good to get this bar out of the way. What I tend to do is I grab a zip tie and I just zip tie it up for while I'm working on the lower deck. It makes it a lot easier to push that lower deck out of the way. Well, he said you're ready.
Go.
So while working on this bottom deck, I found by taking it on, putting it on a couple times, that it's a lot easier if you just take a zip tie or something to wrap it up. You go through this hole, and you just want to get this thing out of the way so that as you're moving it in and out, it's just out of the way for you. Okay, this just makes working on your lawnmower a lot easier. All right, let's go do the other side. Okay, so we're going to do this to the other side. We're going to put the zip tie around this arm in order to get it up and out of the way. All right, now that that arm is zip tied up, we're going to go to the front. We're going to pop this bar out, and then now everything's out of the way, and we can pull the mower deck out from under the mower. So let's just grab it and make sure the PTO is released. I'm going to grab it and pull it out. Now we can have access to the PTO. So right here is where it's connected to the mower deck. And it's connected to a spring. There's a cotter pin that holds it in place. And there's a spring that goes to this pulley over here. So there's my PTO. What you're going to do is you're going to push this pulley forward or backwards. Push this pulley backwards. And then you want to disengage that spring, unhook that spring from that pulley. So you have to wiggle it a little bit, maybe work it. It's not the easiest thing to get undone, but once you can wiggle it and get it out of the way, it could pull the whole mower deck out. So it takes a minute. There we go. All right, so now that I got the, this is the engagement lever pulley right here. I've broken this a couple times, so it's good to keep one of these on hand. Now that that's out of the way, I can pull the whole mower deck out. So it should allow us to do it. I'm going to pull it out, and we're going to move it to the side. Okay. All right, so slide it out. And with those arms out of the way, because I have those zip ties out of the way, it allows us to pick it up. Now look at this. This is that broken belt. So this is the whole reason why we're doing this maintenance on it. I go through one of these belts, gosh, at least every season I pop one of the belts. So you can see where it goes through these pulleys. And what we're going to do is we're going to clean up this deck and put a new belt on it. We're going to put a new chute on it and replace the blades. So we're going to get all this stuff done while we can. Now, I've gone through some belts at Home Depot or Lowe's, but this is I found on Amazon. And I like to keep an extra one or two on hand so that if it does break while I'm mowing, that I'll have another one that I could just go to. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna put it up on this table over here so we can work on it. Again, that belt is 7540436. All right, so if you look at these blades, you can see that they're broken here and here. This piece is snapped off on the end. Also on this one, snapped here and here. This one as well, snapped here and here. And here. And these are the extreme blades that I got from directly from Troy-Bilt. Okay, so this time I'm not going to get blades with these end pieces because they tend to just snap off while I'm mowing my property. The edges on these, you can see that they're extremely dull. They're just not cutting as well as I wanted. And I put these on last season, so they did last a good season, which is pretty good for us. Now these blades are locked on with this nut here, and this nut here. The tool that you need to take these out isn't a normal size. This one is, gosh, not even. Let's see, 15/16, right? So this is a 15/16 nut. This is a bolt, socket. Is a 15/16 socket, and what it does is it fits on here. You go to your socket wrench, you're going to put it on left to loosen it, and what you don't want to do right now is try to do it, because if you try to do it on your own, you see how this blade is just spinning around. Okay, so we need to lock this blade in place so that we can break this bolt in order to remove the blades. So I'm going to grab some wood. My grandfather gave me these clamps a long time ago. So while they may be old, they do the job. So I got some just scrap wood laying around the barn because of all the projects that we do. I'm going to grab just a couple pieces of 2x4 that are chopped off. And what we're going to do is we're going to brace this blade. So I'm going to brace it on each side like this, and it's going to hold it in place. So you just fast forward or whatever you want to do. I'll put the first one on here, and I just tighten the clamp on it to hold it in place. And there are tools that they make for this. They make tools so that you can lock the blade in place in order to remove it. But here on the farm, we try to do as much as we can with what we got. So loosen this up. There we go. There, I've locked that blade in place. You can see the blade is not moving anymore. And when I try to move this, it's locked on there. I mean, it's not going anywhere. So what I found the last time I did this is having a bar. This is just a piece of metal I found on the farm when we moved in. And you just put it on the end here, and you can break this bolt with leverage. All right. So what's great about being a math teacher or science is that makes it very easy in order to turn it and break the bolt. Okay. So that bolt's broken. Makes it really easy to come off at this point. And you can just take the bolt right off. So this one is in pretty good shape. So we're going to keep on. We're not going to need to clean it up or anything. But then we just remove one of these, move it out of the way, and you're going to take out the old blade. The old blade should just lift right out, and you can see that with our mower, it has this star pattern in it. A little bit easier to see on the side as a star pattern, and that locks in right here. Now there is some rust on here and corrosion, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a brush. I'm going to brush this real quick to smooth it out, and maybe add a little bit of lubricant or a little oil to it in order to help it. Okay, so I found these blades on Amazon. They're really popular, but looking at the difference in them, you can see that how much wider it's going to be. It doesn't have the metal files off the end of it. You get more material, and apparently the way that this is designed on the end here is designed to push the air and push the cuttings out the chute. Okay, this extreme blade I think was more designed in order to be a mulching blade, right? And it keeps the grass inside here and cuts it up in little pieces, and then it kind of just gets caught in the chute. So I'm hoping that switching the type of blade from this one to this one is going to help with grass coming out the chute, so we won't get that buildup that we saw inside of it. I'm also going to talk to my son about how to use the deck wash, right? Because my son does most of the mowing on the property, but I'm going to show him how to use the deck wash and make sure that this doesn't happen again with that dirty deck. So when you see this, you want to make sure that you have the star pattern here on your blade, right? So this has the star pattern on the blade to match the star pattern that it has here. And when you read it, it usually tells you which side is up. So this one here does not say which side is up. So it's going to be concave like this, and it should fit directly on our star pattern. Feel how that locks in. Flip it over, and this way would be the right way. You see how it locks in and holds the blade in place. It doesn't allow, because of the bend in it, you can see that it does not lock in when you try to put it the wrong way. So you put it this way, you get it locked. You see that it's locked around it. We're going to take our 2x4 block. We're going to lock this back into place so it doesn't move. And it'll allow us to tighten the bolt. One thing about working in a barn is that we always have flies. All right. Here we go. All right, you're gonna take your nut, put it directly on the bolt, and we just reverse the process that we just did. Put it back on your socket, switch it to tighten, and because the blade's locked, it allows us to torque it. You want to do it tight, but not too tight, just tight enough so that you know that it's not going to come off while you're mowing. All right, and that one's done. And we repeat the same process with this blade over here. All right, so now we're finished with the blades. We have the bolts tightened on. We have the new blades. It's cleaned out so that we can hopefully get a really good cut on this lawn. All right, let's flip it over. And what we're going to do next is replace this chute over here. What happened to it is that this metal bracket broke on it, and then I made a temporary farm repair on it with some old metal I found laying around, and it just didn't last. So I went ahead and spent the $32 to buy a new one, and today we're going to replace it because we might as well do all the maintenance on this thing at once. So let's go ahead and remove this old chute and start put in the new one. The nut that is on this one right here is a 7/16. So it goes through to the bottom over here, and there is a 7/16 bolt that you have to hold while you undo the nut. So good to have a wrench on it to hold it in place while you're removing the nut on the other side. So let's see, and there we go. Doesn't want to go. All right, so we'll try something else. We'll try it again. So, 7/16 on the bit. We'll put our bit on here. Yep, that took it right off. Then that bolt comes through. And where'd my nut go? Where's my nut? All right, so make sure you keep your nuts and your bolts together. All right, and this should just pop right off. On the bottom of this bracket, you see that it has these little slides. You gotta make sure it slides out one way. It slides from the back of the deck towards the front, and you can remove it that way. The replacement for it, same thing. It's going to slide right on here. You place it in the bend it a little bit here, and slides forward. Or slides towards the back. Once you got it on there, we have the new chute installed. All we have to do is replace our bolt through the middle that I carefully set aside so I wouldn't lose. Okay, so again, the bolt comes up through the bottom, and you have your nut on the top. The reason for that is that we don't want the screw here catching the grass as it's coming out the chute. So we get our 7/16 wrench. We're going to come from the bottom of it again. Find the hole. Then put your nut on. Just hand tighten this one. Here's your 7/16. And that's replaced. And now we have a new working chute, where before we had one that didn't work at all. Next step on this is that we're going to remove the belt that snapped. You want to pay attention to the path that the belt takes that goes through your lawnmower. It should serpentine around where it comes through the middle right here, where it'll connect to the drive shaft on the mower. So we just need to pull this out. And replace it with a new one. Okay, so the new one, like I said, is the 754-04060 that I found is a reasonable price on Amazon to replace it. Manufacturer does recommend using their belts, but this one saved me some money. But way cheaper than going to a big box store like Home Depot or Lowe's. Gives out more options. All right, so the belt is like this. To get this belt on, you need to remove these belt covers that are on each side. You need to remove this pulley, and you need to remove this pulley in order to slide it through these spots. This one looks like it's bent a little bit, so it might fit in okay. So the first thing we do is we're going to remove these belt covers. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with that. This one should be the same size that I just did. And it's not. All right, I'm gonna get another tool and I'll be right back. Sure. The size on these was 3/8. Okay, so this is a 3/8 bolt that holds on these belt guards. And I just pick out 1, 2, and this one right here is a single, right? So you just have to loosen it a little bit, just so that you can move it out of the way. You take your belt, and it just slides around this first pulley. Once you have it slid around that one, this one goes around here, and that one pops right through. So this is the first step for getting this new belt on. Then you just replace the bolts you just took out and retighten it again. So just do the same process in reverse. Overkill. Those screws we just took out. And retighten the last one. We're going to do the same thing to the other side. We're going to remove the belt protector on this side as well. Loosen the single one. Or remove it. And do the other side as well. When we put this belt on, again, you make sure the flat side is to the outside. It goes straight across here and around. This one on the spring comes out. It goes around this one. And then we'll get to this part here. You see how it should go. Now this one right here, this is the part that you can't just slide in. Okay, like where this one, it's a little bent out of shape. I probably should take a hammer and bend this in some more. This one, you have to remove this bolt, and you have to hold the bolt, remove this nut and loosen the bolt. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the 9/16. We're going to go underneath it. There is a bolt that you can feel under here. You just have to sort of eyeball it. Make sure it's the right way. And once you feel it catch, like this, you're going to take off this top. So you take a 9/16, 1/2, 9/16, make sure it fits. You take your socket, make sure it's on loosen, and you're just going to break that. You can see that it loosens. You want to loosen it up enough that you can get that space in order to put this belt on like this. Once you got that belt on, we can just retighten this pulley again. So just do the same thing in reverse. And you could put a belt on with this sitting underneath the underneath the lawnmower, right? You can do this on the lawnmower, and I've done it while it's sitting under the lawnmower. And I got to tell you, as much as a pain in the butt it is to take this thing off, this is a lot easier to do on a table than sitting there on the ground. So at least for me. All right, so once you get that retightened, we now have that fixed. All right, so this is the way it should look. Your serpentine belt here should go around here. It goes around this pulley, comes back this way, slides through this one, and then it goes out the front, and it's going to connect to the drive shaft on the engine. Let me go ahead and replace the belt guard on this, and we should be all done with the work that we have to do on this. And we'll just go ahead and start the process of putting it back on the lawnmower. All right, so now that we have the repairs that we wanted to make to the mower deck, we need to get it reinstalled on the mower. So we need to slide it in from the same way that we took it out. We're going to attach the PTO cable to it. We're going to attach the 3 cotter pins to it and get it lifted back up. And then we will move on to our next repair that we're going to work on, because we do need to still troubleshoot the brakes and figure out what's going on with them. All right, let's get to work. All right, so I'm just going to slide this back under. We're going to attach the PTO cable. When you do this, you can see right here, this is where this bracket right here is where it goes on. This has a notch in it that slides directly in, just like this, and then it locks in. So once we have this in, you go under this stuff here, and then there is this is going to hook on to this right here, this notch. So we take this. I found that it's always easier to go from below it. So I'm not a big fan of working on the ground. This is why I worked on the table earlier. But you pull this towards you to where there's an opening, and then you slide that on just like that. Okay, this is a lot easier to do when it's pulled out like this. Once it is under the mower, it's a lot harder to get it on there. This tire's flat. All right, so now this is attached. We're going to slide it back in to the location that we need to get to. You see this bracket is going to attach this right here, attaches right here, and it goes to this post here, so we're close to where we need to be. Okay, so I'm going to cut these zip ties that I put on here earlier to make it easy to move around and get this attached. So this bracket is going to slide directly into place right here, and you try to get it lined up as much as you can. You're going to attach this to the post, and you want it in there just a little bit where it's hanging out like that. That way, when you slide this on, you get it lined up, and then you lift the mower deck on my side, it'll be on the other side. All right. Can't see through the phone.
Mhm.
There you go. You can see this right here came through, it's attached, and then you put the cotter pin in right here. All right, can you give me a cotter pin? You'll have to. Thank you. Ready? See right here, the cotter pin slides through, and it's locked on. All right, then we do the other three. Do the same thing this on the other side, and we have the one on the front here. So let's go to the front next. On the front, they have this metal guard here underneath that keeps the belt on. You just push on it, and it pulls out of the way. You feed your belt through the guard path, through the belt path here, and it goes right around the drive shaft here. So we just move our belt, slides right there, then you pop this back into place, and this is what holds the belt in place while this is spinning. This is what turns your mower blades. All right, this part right here attaches to the front. Usually I do that one last. We're going to go ahead and do the other side now. All right, so this right here is the cotter pin that goes on the PTO cable. If you can see, there's a little hole right here. You see that? This is where this pin goes through. You just slide it. Little booger. There you go. This would have been easier to do while it was out. But it just slides through there, and that locks the PTO cable in place. All right. I'll cut the zip tie. You see it lines up real nice. What you're going to do is you take this bar, you put it slightly through like this, to where it's just hanging a little bit. You lift it up from the bottom, and it pulls through like that. And you put another cotter pin in on this one to hold it in place. There we go. And that'll hold into place. All right, and then we just have the last one. It's going to be on the one on front. The other two in place. This one slides in real nice and easy. You put your cotter pin through it so that it doesn't come apart. Hold it. There you go. Now your mower deck is reinstalled and everything looks like it's tight. This way it should be, and should be ready to mow. All right, so the next issue that we're going to tackle with this mower is the brakes. Before I start reinstalling the spark plugs and everything, I wanted to work on the brakes. On your lawnmower, the left pedal here is the brakes. So if I put it in neutral and I put on the brake like this, it shouldn't roll at all, right? That should be a brake, but you can see that it just rolls forward. Well, now it's braking. That's good. Okay, well, it's fixed. Nice.
All right. Well, let's try it out and see if it's.
Well, try it out. You know, put it back to the other and see if it works, because it actually is braking like it's supposed to now.
Good.
I don't know why I wasn't doing it earlier, but nice. I'll take it. So we don't have to fix the brake. Let's put it back together. So we took off the spark plug on the engine, so we need to reinstall the spark plug. Again, the spark plug is right here at the bottom right, the front. So you just slide that cable back on, this one right here. Slide it back on. I had just replaced these spark plugs and changed the oil over the winter. So that's back on. Then we got to put the power cable back on the battery. The battery's located in the back. What we did is we uninstalled this with a Phillips head screwdriver that I All this with a Phillips head screwdriver. So if you look in here, there is a nut or a bolt, no nut in there. You take your bolt, you just line it up. Be careful not to get shocked. All right. Put it on the power cable, and it should tighten up. Now it's tight, and you put your cover back on. All right, so now we have power. We have power, and we should have. We get our mower. And there's a problem with the brakes. It's not supposed to roll forward like that. So that's the next thing we're going to fix on this tractor. Thanks for tuning in to Wild Haven Pastures. Subscribe, please. What is it? Subscribe.
Yep. Like this video.
Okay. Please like this video and subscribe. Wild Haven Pastures.
Please leave us any comments or questions you have.
Or any advice you have for me on how to get this lawnmower fixed.